Team Biden is giving the Taliban the benefit of the doubt, caving to the terror group's demands that all U.S. troops be out in a week, and trusting that the militants will fully cooperate with ongoing evacuations.
The completion by August 31st depends upon the Taliban continuing to cooperate and allow access to the airport. Thus far, the Taliban have been taking steps to work with us so we can get our people out.
There's a reality that the Taliban is currently controlling large swaths of Afghanistan.
The Taliban have made public and private commitments to provide and permit safe passage for Americans. It's been important to work with them.
Reports from the ground show little desire for cooperation. The Taliban blocking access for Afghans trying to reach the Kabul airport and tearing up their paperwork. Secretary of State Antony Blinken doing more damage control today.
There could be other Americans in Afghanistan who never enrolled with the embassy, who ignored public evacuation notices and have not yet identified themselves to us. We've also found that many people who contact us and identify themselves as American citizens, including by filling out and submitting repatriation assistance forms, are not, in fact, U.S. citizens, something that can take some time to verify. Some Americans may choose to stay in Afghanistan, some who are enrolled and some who are not. This effort does not end on August 31st. It will continue for as long as it takes to help get people out of Afghanistan who wish to leave.
But we can rest easy, everyone. Now the kinder, gentler Taliban is vowing to tackle climate change. A member of the group's Cultural Commission talking to Newsweek, quote, "We believe the world has a unique opportunity of rapprochement," is that how you say it? "And coming together to tackle the challenges not only facing us, but the entire humanity. These challenges, ranging from world security and climate change, need the collective efforts," somebody went to college, "of all, and cannot be achieved if we exclude or ignore an entire people who have been devastated by imposed wars for the past 4 decades." Wow. Sounds like someone's aiming for a primetime gig on CNN. So, Dana, Greta Thunberg must be thrilled.
She might have written that.
Yeah, I don't know. The Taliban is going to focus on climate change.
If you want to be accepted by the world community,
Yes.
You don't want your funds to be cut off from the world. You want the World Bank to pay attention to you. You want some countries to lessen sanctions. There's a great way to their heart, and they know exactly what it is. It is through climate change. I mean, they probably looked on social media and were like, how would you trend on social media? Oh, you just say you're for climate change.
Right.
They're also going to assign eco credit scores to people. Right now, that's very progressive. Like, what a interesting idea.
What is their carbon footprint? I mean, don't they just ride goats?
They want to be back in the 7th century.
Yes.
As far as I know, there weren't a lot. I mean, the methane issue was a problem back then. I just want to mention one other thing. So the administration is very mad about the media coverage that they're getting.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I get it. People complain. But I saw something today that made me want to repeat it. And so I didn't write this. But basically, it said, you don't get to sink the ship and then brag about the lifeboats. But that is what we've been seeing for the last several days. Yesterday, the United States and the UK both called special sessions of their legislative bodies. The UK basically had a conversation about how are we going to protect and extract our citizens from Afghanistan to bring them home. And the United States special session was about how can we add $5 trillion of domestic spending to this agenda. And then Afghanistan was just an afterthought.
Yeah. Insane, Jessica. What do you have to say to this? This is on you.
Yes, I'm calling all the shots in D.C. from my studio here. Couple of things. The savvy with which dictators, terrorists, et cetera, can play the propaganda game, it shouldn't be stunning to us anymore, but it is. You think that you're listening to, like when Putin sits down for an interview or Lavrov sits down, and they know every buzzword, Xi Jinping, right? Like they know exactly how to trigger us, to use a favorite woke word that way. So I think it's really interesting, especially since we heard that the World Bank is going to be withholding funds from them now that they're not a normal country and they're a terrorist organization-run land. One thing that I did think was positive out of Secretary Blinken's briefing is we actually got some numbers about how many Americans were in Afghanistan and how many have been evacuated. So he said that there were 6,000 Americans who had left since August 14th. 6K Americans registered August 14th, 4,500 evacuated since. He believes there to be less than 1,000 still in the country. And I thought the idea of people who do want to keep staying there, it was interesting. Like, I can't imagine at this moment being like, hey, no, I'm gonna wait this one out. And I get it, there are dual nationals there. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But the 82,000 evacuees, a lot of the people are getting out, obviously foreign nationals, but a lot of Afghans are getting to other places. They're going to Qatar, they're getting to Western Europe, and those all seem to be positives.
Yeah. You know, there's a weird thing, Dagan. Is it, as our government keeps pushing its way towards wokeism, there is basically no way to deal with something like Afghanistan because we lose the options that being a woke country would not allow you to do. In a weird way, the Taliban is going to be China's problem, and China's going to have no problem dealing with them.
Right, exactly. It's like if the Taliban agrees to turn their head away from the Uyghurs, hey, we'll give you, you let us operate as a terror organization. We'll give you mining rights to our rare earth minerals. Our rare earth metals. We need the money. You've got again. It's just a tolerance of one another, and that. I was writing this today. The Biden doctrine is empower our enemies, embolden evil, betray and abandon our allies, America on our ass. But it goes to that point. So the Biden administration with the Taliban has treated it as the de facto government from all along, recognizing it, elevating it, legitimizing it, trusting it. Going back to 2013 when Obama and Biden provided a diplomatic presence in Doha, Qatar for the Taliban. But then you throw in, they abandoned the Afghan security forces, left a power vacuum. Al-Qaeda is ascendant now, 15 provinces it's in. But also, remember, why is Al-Qaeda a concern now? They had bioweapons labs 20 years ago. You don't think that they've looked at China and what's gone on with the Wuhan virus? Killing 4.5 million people around the globe, that's a possibility. And then our allies in Europe are apoplectic. One more thing. Ron Klain, the chief of staff in the White House, he needs to get off Twitter. He is retweeting the hackety-hack gas bags, like the worst of the worst. Like Jennifer Rubin at the Washington Post, he's like retweeting her constantly. Like being portrayed by Kevin Spacey in a TV movie wasn't bad enough. You got to check it out because no wonder Biden goes out and talks about Build Better yesterday.
Yeah. All right, Jesse, is it time for gas? Greg's artificial stance.
What is it?
All right. I believe that Afghanistan is Joe Biden's North Korea. Think about what Trump tried to do is to convince Kim Jong-un, we're not interested in defeating you. We just want you out of our lives. Could you argue that this is what Joe Biden is doing? North Korea is still there, but the physical tension has decreased because Trump basically said, we're not interested. And so he put North Korea, you are now China's problem. Is that what Joe is doing with Afghanistan?
But we won't have hostages in North Korea for the rest of Joe Biden's term.
Good point. That's why this was an artificial stance. I don't really believe it.
Well, that was an official retort to your artificial stance. Joe Biden chose a hostage crisis. He thought that was the best option. He said, we're not going to extend the deadline. He says, we're not going to do search and rescue. So this is going to dog Joe Biden for the rest of his term. Jimmy Carter only had a year of a hostage crisis. Joe Biden's going to have 3 years of a hostage crisis. I don't see how he survives this. Now, tactically, what is this, the costliest military blunder in United States history? Pearl Harbor, they destroyed the Pacific Fleet. I don't know if you adjust that for inflation, if that matches the $82 billion in U.S. hardware we gave to the Taliban. What? The most embarrassing? Custer's Last Stand? Little Bighorn?
Yeah, you're going
Bay
back.
of Pigs? The Alamo? I mean, the death toll's not the same, but in terms of a tactical humiliation, this ranks right up there with all of them. And now he's kind of blaming the Americans that are still there for not getting rescued. Oh, you didn't register at the embassy. No one registers at the embassy. Or, we're going to bring back everybody that wants to leave. Who wants to stay under Taliban rule? And now he's going out and he wants credit. This is the fastest airlift. This is the greatest retreat ever. He's thanking the Taliban for letting Americans get to the airport. Americans are getting beaten on the way to the airport. So I don't see how this shakes out right now. I mean, you say what you want about Trump. At least Trump killed terrorists. Joe Biden takes orders from terrorists.
There you go. That's the money quote. Took him a while to get there, though. Anyway, coming up, Democrats in panic mode as Biden craters in the polls.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.